Who is Democrat Mark Mantovani? On July 15, 2018, Democratic candidate for St. Louis County Executive Mark Mantovani was a guest on the Demetrius Johnson Show, a Sunday community affairs radio show focused on minority issues affecting the St. Louis region. St. Louis radio show host and former St. Louis Rams defensive player Demetrius Johnson interviewed Mark Mantovani regarding Mantovani's Democratic campaign for St. Louis County Executive. While Mark Mantovani took serious issue with Demetrius Johnson requesting Mantovani answer questions to address claims made by Steve Stinger's campaign commercials, Mark Mantovani became frustrated and gave St. Louis County Republicans insight on his political and public beliefs. Mark Mantovani and his wife gave the maximum amount of campaign donations permitted by law to Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign in 2016.
I contributed the maximum amount under the law to Hillary Clinton's campaign.
Okay.
As did my wife.
Okay.
And this is a matter of public record.
Mark Mantovani supports St. Louis County government incorporating the city of St. Louis as part of St. Louis County.
He's in studio with us, Mark Mantovani, running for county executive. But once again, I'm going to make this statement. Anybody past indicate to me their future and their thought process. So, Rev, you got a question?
Yeah, real quick, Mark, talk to us about your position on city-county merger, why or why not?
Here's what I think we need to do. I think the city of St. Louis needs to rejoin St. Louis County as the 89th city, whatever that would be, in St. Louis County. This is very doable. The city of St. Louis should rejoin St. Louis County as the 89th city in the county. This brings the 1,300,000 people that would be living in that combined jurisdiction into a single legislative forum so that the county council can make policy across that bigger group of 1,300,000 people. Every major city in America is part of a county. Chicago is part of Cook County. LA is part of LA County. This is not revolutionary that St. Louis would be part of St. Louis County. This is the way the world works. And if we don't start acting more like a region, we're going to continue to watch our economy decline, our young people move to other places. This is the single most important thing we should do in order to create a regional expansion.
Mark Mantovani does not support President Donald Trump.
Did you vote for Donald Trump?
Absolutely not. Now,
Okay.
look.
I'm just asking a question.
Well, it's a preposterous question.
Oh, well, go
Can I
ahead.
talk about Donald Trump?
You can talk about whoever you want to talk about.
Well, you asked about Donald Trump.
Okay, then. But I'm just saying, don't tell me you didn't do that, though. Go ahead.
I didn't vote for Donald Trump.
Okay. All right.
Nor did my wife. I contributed $5,000 to Hillary Clinton's campaign. It's a
Okay.
matter of public record. The reason it is aggravating to me is because this is a matter of public record.
Mm-hmm.
And people who want to know the truth just have to check the Federal Ethics Commission report that shows that I was a supporter of Hillary Clinton. The Rudy Giuliani thing, I don't even know what year that was, but I had the opportunity to play a round of golf with Rudy Giuliani, rode with him. And, back in the day after 9/11, I admired that guy's leadership. In many respects, Rudy Giuliani saved New York City. Rudy Giuliani was America's mayor. Remember, he was on the cover of and law and whatnot. So Barack Obama is a seminal figure in our political history and in my life, and I support him. My campaign manager, by the way, was in the Obama White House.
Does Mark Mantovani consider himself goofy? Sure sounds like Mantovani is talking about himself.
And oh, by the way, the guy who apparently I'm criticized for not voting for had been a Republican, Chris Koster. So that was a little bit of a goofy election, if you want to talk about it. You had a Republican running as a Democrat running as a Republican.
More Mark Mantovani double talk.
How is it that I can trust what you're going to say and do what you say you're going to do?
Yeah, so I think you got a problem here, right? Because white politicians have been sitting in these chairs telling you this stuff decade after decade after decade. Mm-hmm. I concur. I told people at a gathering yesterday morning in Belle Reve Acres that I sympathize with African Americans having to listen to a white candidate tell them that he's committed. Because white candidates have lied to you guys, to the community, for not just decades, for centuries. When you're not a public figure, you're contributing to people who are friends and contacts and whatnot. And these things are not all a sign of kind of political support. These are relationships that you make along the path of life.
St. Louis County Republican voters, do not get fooled by St. Louis liberal media. Mark Mantovani is no Republican, and St. Louis County has a Republican candidate ready to defeat Steve Stenger this November. The St. Louis Post-Dispatch is upset that real St. Louis County Republicans are not providing our game plan to take back our St. Louis County executive seat. St. Louis Post-Dispatch, we all see you are supporting Mark Mantovani by trying to mislead Republican voters. You know how real Republicans feel about fake news. This August 7th, 2018, no St. Louis County Republican should cross over to vote on the Democratic ballot for St. Louis County Executive. Republicans do not support Mark Mantovani. Mark Mantovani supports Hillary Clinton. Mark Mantovani supports Barack Obama's agenda. Mark Mantovani supports the city-county merger. Mark Mantovani does not support our federal politicians, including President Donald J. Trump. No media spin. You heard Mark Mantovani's opinion from his own mouth. And any so-called Republican who supports Mantovani is a closet Democrat attempting to hide in pachyderm skin. This August 7th, 2018, make sure you request and vote for your St. Louis County Republican nominee for United States Senate, Missouri Congressional District 1, Missouri Congressional District 2, Missouri State Representative, and your Republican nominee for St. Louis County Executive, Paul Berry III. And support your fellow Republicans. Enact our St. Louis County First agenda, created and championed by St. Louis County Executive Republican candidate Paul Berry III. You can find the St. Louis County First agenda online at berryforstlcounty.com.